Every entrepreneur has a moment or a series of moments that leads them to become who they are meant to be. I call these moments intuitive turning points. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I am the host of Intuitive Turning Points. Come join us for stories of successful entrepreneurs who have gone through the journey. These entrepreneurs have accomplished so many things in their lives. I will have best-selling authors, TEDx speakers, people who've created successful businesses as an entrepreneur. It doesn't happen overnight. And as I always say, entrepreneurship is a personal development journey. And it takes time to develop yourself into the person you're meant to be, to help other people become who they're meant to be. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Today's guest on Intuitive Turning Points is Trina Felber. She's the creator and CEO of Primal Life Organics, a premier all-natural dental care company that focuses on oral health as the gateway to internal health. She believes that antiseptic products we use in our mouths are doing more harm than good. After more than 25 years as a registered nurse, Trina has transitioned into an oral healthcare expert. She has created natural products to biohack your dental health for stronger, cleaner, whiter teeth and improved overall health. She is the best-selling author of Beauty's Dirty Secret, 3 Simple Steps to Superpower Your Skin. Trina has been featured on ABC, CBS, and Fox affiliates. Her entrepreneurial skills and business savvy mindset are an inspiration to women everywhere. Let's welcome Trina Felber to Intuitive Turning Points. Trina Felber, Primal Life Organics.
So good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And we've talked a little bit about your story and how powerful it is. And so I just wanted to know if, for listeners to understand a little bit better about what your intuitive turning point was. So what was the turning point moment or series of moments that led you to become who you are today?
Yeah, it's, I've always been a healer. I've always been a nurse. I went to nursing school, graduated when I was, 23, back in, 93. And so I've always had that wanting to help people, wanting them to understand the aspect of educating people. I've always been into self-help or taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to school for anesthesia school. So my master's degree in anesthesia. Love my job. So it wasn't like I was looking for an out. I wasn't unhappy with anything. I, was just getting married, graduating from my anesthesia school, which was a struggle. That's not an easy path to go down, but
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for any kind of out. I was very happy doing anesthesia cases. But anyway, my husband and I, fiance at the time, went to Fiji to get married.
Oh, wow.
And because I was turning 40, this was back in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I was turning 40 and we wanted to start a family right away. And so we thought, well, if we're probably not going to travel for a little while with little ones, or at least far, so let's go somewhere really cool. So we went to Fiji, got married on the island, and then did our honeymoon. It was just the two of us. We traveled to a couple islands, did a bunch of fun things. And I was actually really surprised that I got pregnant then on the honeymoon,
Oh, wow.
I didn't really think I would, because being 40 and, just stress of anesthesia, all that stuff. So I just assumed I was going to have a hard time getting pregnant, but I actually got pregnant right away. And so we were super excited, really, elated, and, gosh, it's happening so fast. Yeah. So week 7 into my miscarriage, I'm home. I'm getting into a new routine of anesthesia. A little bit different than regular nursing care, but, and it was week 7, I was, I miscarried, and I was, first of all, I was still in shock that I got pregnant right away. So I was still not over that. But then the shock of miscarriage, and it's something women don't talk about. Nobody talks about it. Because whenever I bring this up, whether it's on a Facebook Live that I talk about it, or with girlfriends or friends or people that I'm just meeting, someone invariably is like, oh my God, I miscarried. And then the next person goes, I did too. And I did too. And I did too. And it's like the sisterhood that doesn't get talked about. There's, it's something that we all personally, not all, but we personally deal with.
Yeah, it's really tough. And just to share, I miscarried, the one and only baby I was ever pregnant with when I was married. And it's a big thing.
And how far were you? You were pretty far.
I was 11 weeks to the day.
You were.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, one more week. And I'm in my,
and it just brings back so many emotions, that hope of what that, is how that's going to change, not just your life, but what that's going to, what's that baby going to be like, all those things.
Yeah.
And so we all internalize that somehow. And so anyway, I miscarried at 7 weeks. And I remember, like, I miscarried and I actually held the little embryo, the little baby, and I could see the little head and the little feet. And I actually held that baby for just a brief moment. And I just remember thinking to myself, without even thinking that I was thinking, I was like, I just wonder what your message would have been. And if there's anything that I can do, like to bring your message and make your tiny little life mean something, then I'll do it. And so I just kept that in the back of my head. And so at that point, my husband and I, we consider ourselves more healthy than the average Joe. Yeah. We had ditched processed foods. This was right before like the paleo, the CrossFit, all that came out.
Yes.
That big movement. So we had ditched processed foods, not gluten yet, because that was really still something new to mainstream anyway. But we worked out, we looked healthy, felt healthy. But I thought to myself, if there's something that I can change or something that I can do personally to help me be healthier, then I'm going to do it. And obviously I know that miscarriages happen for numerous reasons. So it could have been something that I inadvertently did, took, whatever. Or it could have been a genetic fluke. So who knows? I didn't know. I didn't care. I just knew that if there was something I could do, I would do it. Yeah. So we started to look at our environment. We changed our, dish soap, our cleaning supplies, we got air purifiers, our laundry stuff. We did all those types of things, but it never dawned on me that I should look at what I was putting directly on my body. So, I mean,
this is important. We're talking about lotions. We're talking about hair
makeup, body, everything, face moisturizers, washes. So I never even thought about that. It didn't cross my mind. Of course, I was using something from an organic company or natural. Back in 2007, it was a little different than it is now. Right. But I was using not just mainstream, like going to the department store and getting stuff. I was actually using some pretty healthy things. And I remember I got pregnant very quickly again. I was actually really lucky. Got pregnant very quickly again. And I was at week 7 where I had miscarried. So I was really like, it's going to happen again. Am I going to get past 7 weeks? Like what's, so I was really in tune with everything. And I got up one morning, I was getting ready for work and I picked up my moisturizer, and probably for the first time ever in my life, I actually read the ingredients and I was blown away. Oh, wow. I was like, oh my gosh, I know that fragrance isn't good. I know that those numbers behind those words aren't healthy, that they're chemicals. And oh my gosh, I know that whatever that gets in my body through my skin, it's your second gut, really. Yeah. That it gets into the baby. So I literally put it down and I thought, what can I put on my skin? Mind you, my skin was broken. I had a face full of acne. I suffered from acne until I was 40, basically until I stopped using commercial skincare.
Yes, exactly. Was there a connection there, Trina?
Just a little. And I had acne and I had oily skin, but the only thing I could think of to put on my skin that was okay for my baby, because at this point I didn't even care about me anymore, was olive oil. So I went to the kitchen and I got olive oil and I just put it all over my skin. I thought those ladies in Italy are absolutely gorgeous. They use olive oil. At least that's in my head they do. I'm going to put it on my skin. Yeah. So that's what I did. And lo and behold, my oily skin did not get oilier. It actually normalized. And my acne for the first time ever. Now I was one of those people that did everything. I did topicals, I did antibiotics, I did Accutane twice.
Oh,
Nothing
wow.
ever got rid of my acne. So olive oil got basically cleared up my skin. It was just, I used olive oil, but then I started blending, I started mixing other different oils in it. So when I started to see the changes that was happening in my skin, I started creating my own. Like I was like, okay, I have acne. I'm just going to look and figure out how to make something for acne. So I did. My acne went away and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of scars. I'm going to make something to get rid of my scars. So everything was working really good.
Yeah.
Mind you, like my pregnancy went really well. My daughter was born. Yeah. I was sitting, I'll never forget. I was sitting in the chair. She was only, she was young, like less than a month old. And I'm holding her, breastfeeding her. And my husband, he's walking away. And I said, everything I was giving some things to friends. I said, maybe I should just start a little business. Now, mind you, I just graduated a year. It was about a year at this point from anesthesia school. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Not looking for another career change at the age of 40 with a newborn. Yeah. But this would be fun if I can share this with some people. So I'm thinking a little store on Etsy. And he just this 180. My husband's been an entrepreneur. He started his first business when he was 13. So in his mind, he doesn't think small. He's like, boom. So he's like, okay, figure out what you want to be called. I'll get somebody to do your logo. I'll get a website. We'll get things started. And so that's really how it started. I within a year on my daughter's first birthday, I launched my first business, which was called Olives Organic Botanicals, because my goal back then, since I started with olive oil, was to use that as a staple ingredient in everything. And so for a couple years, it was probably 3 years, for 3 years, I was doing olives and it was doing okay. I was reaching people and it was in some magazines and I was getting some sales. But it wasn't until I rebranded that my company really took off.
Okay. Primal Life Organics.
Yes.
A very successful company.
Yeah. So I rebranded. So the funny thing about that, we were talking a little bit about the intuition, like your inner voice. Yeah. So I've got my daughter, who is 2, and I have newborn twins. I ended up, when my daughter was 2, I had twin boys. And, I'm busy with all of that on top of working my anesthesia and running Olives, just the sales or the things that were going. I was making all the products myself. I was doing everything myself, making them myself, ordering supplies, doing labeling, everything I was doing myself. And I started, my husband brought home CrossFit right after my boys were born. He started going to a CrossFit. He started, then he launched his own CrossFit, brought home the paleo diet. And, you talk about intuition, and I was reading the book, The Secret, and I really got to chapter 2. And chapter 2, I was thinking about this. I was like, gosh, I know that my secret. So the first thing that happened is I was searching for paleo skincare, and Paleo Hacks was brand new on the web. And I searched paleo skincare. Nothing came up, but Paleo Hacks, somebody asked the forum, hey, what do you use for paleo skincare? And somebody said, hey, I just use coconut oil. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I have a company for you people. Like I have a whole company that literally is paleo. So I had to put it on the back burner only because my newborn twins and my 2-year-old, it was a lot.
It's a lot.
But you talk about intuition, and in the back of my head, the only thing I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, if I launch this as a different company branded towards paleo skincare, it's going to be huge, because people that are looking for paleo diet and a paleo lifestyle are going to look for paleo skincare eventually.
Right. When they start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, like you and me and everyone else we know in holistic health have done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You just start, like, eventually you go down the path of what's next.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it on the back burner, but then when my boys were about 6 or 7 months old, I was reading the book, The Secret, and chapter 2, I got to I don't even know what chapter 2 is anymore. all I remember is I put the book down and I thought, I know my secret. My secret is that I have a whole skincare company that if I rebrand it for paleo will take off. And that's what I did. We launched it in 2012. It took me a couple months, launched it in 2012. And that's when paleo was so new that, Mark Sisson, I could call him. Like he was answering his own emails at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wolf was answering her own emails. And paleo, like I remember thinking to myself, there was a new paleo magazine was brand spanking new. And I was so excited that there was a magazine called Paleo Magazine that I thought to myself, I am not going to call them. I'm going to wait until they call me to be in their magazine.
What an interesting, that's an intuitive inspiration.
I was driving home from work one day and my phone rang or there was a message. I don't remember what it was, but the Kane Credicott was is the editor of Paleo Magazine. And there was a message from him saying that he wants me to be in the magazine for Primal Life. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this, everything is coming true. Like this is so weird. So I ended up doing an article and I did some advertising in Paleo Magazine. It was great. But it was really cool just because, I had that intuition and I didn't know at the time. There's like, now I know that what I really did is in marketing, they call it a red ocean. Red meaning full of blood. Like everybody's out for blood. There's tons of competition. You're in a red ocean of skincare. Basically, if you look at skincare, I'm in a red ocean with all these major companies that, very few people are going to find me. But if I niche down and create my own blue ocean, people that are looking for that will find me. And that's literally what I did. I rebranded as Primal Life Organics Paleo Skincare. I am the original paleo skincare company. Now there's a lot of them out there that have used that term. But I'm the original paleo skincare. And then we since dropped the paleo skincare part of it, just so people didn't feel like if they didn't do paleo, they couldn't use it. So we dropped that part of it, but truly nothing changed about the products themselves or, the mission or anything like that.
Right. Oh, wow. That's powerful. There's a trajectory for you, where there's that moment when you have the miscarriage and the baby.
What's crazy is
that moment of like, I've got to do something different.
And what I realized
what can
later,
I do for you?
Yeah. What I realized later is the message of that baby was you got to create a company that is clean and healthy. Like this all started only because of this little tiny thing that I held in my hand that had a message or a purpose, and that I knew intuitively that there was something. So whatever it is, whatever path I go down, I'll figure it out. And whatever becomes of it is because of the energy. I believe in energy fields and energy transfer. And, for miscarriages for women out there, they say that energy of that baby stays within you and you carry that with you through your life. So I really do believe that I carried that energy and basically created a company because of that message of the baby.
Yeah, I agree with you with that you just mentioned. I mean, I still feel her, and she'd be 20 now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's just really, really interesting how that occurs. But I think one of the things that your story is such a great example of is, and this is how intuition works too. It's the hindsight 2020 thing is really, really powerful, especially in your intuitive knowings. When you look back on your life and you see those turning point moments, those times where you got the message, you're breastfeeding your child and you suddenly just blurt out, I think I want to do a skincare product, and your husband's like, boom, boom, I'm on it,
Yeah.
And even intuitively, the partners we choose and how they'll help enhance our lives and bring us up and help us in our missions, because it's really what you have is a mission and a purpose, and your mission and purpose comes from your intuition, and you were already connected. So.
And what's really so important, and I try to instill this in my kids, is regardless of what's going on and how something might just seem too unreal or not achievable, don't ever dismiss it, because I had the first idea of the paleo skincare but I had to put it on hold just because I had too much going on in my life. There was no way I could do that when I had newborn twins and a 2-year-old who basically had 2 tiny little frogs that so she had these 2 tiny little frogs that she carried around because they were her twins. But when it was diaper change time, I had to change 2 babies, a 2-year-old, and 2 tiny little frogs. So I was a little busy.
Oh my gosh,
but anyway, you don't ever dismiss anything. Let it settle. Let your brain figure it out, because the wiring in your brain, even though when you're not conscious, it's the unconscious part of your brain that sort of weaves the path of the intuition, so that when those things fall in place, ultimately it can create the map or the plan of how to do it and how to succeed.
Yeah. And it is a map, it is a plan. And then I think a really important piece of this is there's a sense of just knowing that this is the correct direction. And that even if you don't have the evidence in front of you that this is going to be a big thing, it's just you stand in the knowing,
Yeah, it was really funny when I first thought about the paleo skincare, and it came to me that, oh my gosh, I have a whole company for you people. And I thought, because I'm them, I was living that paleo life. And I was like, I Googled paleo skincare. So there's going to be 1 million people just like me searching for paleo skincare. And I want them to find me.
Yes.
And I just instantly knew that in that skincare realm, I could actually make it work, and I could help people become healthier and look better because of what they're using. And mind you, like I said, I actually still love doing anesthesia, and my whole goal wasn't to get out of nursing at that point. It was really because it was a passion. It was inside me, more so than that nursing, because that was kind of like my college, my younger years of me grooming that up. But I always say that this is now my way of doing nursing. I'm still a nurse. I still sometimes practice anesthesia, but to be honest with you, nursing for me is so deep as far as taking care of your body or teaching someone how to take care of themselves. And this is how I actually do my nursing care now. So in all of the products that I make, I put some sort of nursing care in every product. So for instance, like when you talk about intuition, and people don't know, when they use my products, they don't know all these things because they can't listen to every podcast, or, I can't get that message across on a tiny little bottle. But there's something in there, some way or somehow, that it's working with your body to make you healthier. For instance, my deodorant. When I made my deodorant, I made it to have color. So my lavender or my black formulas that have charcoal in them go on like a lavender color. And my white formulas without the charcoal go on with a white color. The whole point of that is so that you massage it in to your pits until the color goes away. But the nursing care in that is the fact that you have lymph nodes under your armpits. And especially for women and breast health, if you don't massage your lymph nodes, it's like collecting trash that never gets put out or taken out. So every time you put my deodorant on, every time you massage your pits to massage it in without knowing it, you're just massaging that lymphatic drainage to go back so you can take out your trash. So ultimately, you will be healthier. Your breast tissue will be healthier. Your immune system will be healthier. So that's basically how I decided that I was going to create every product that I make to have some sort of behind the scenes, how the nurse can care for you from Akron, Ohio. I can ship it worldwide, and you are still getting nursing care through your skincare products.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And that's that foundation that you made to get to where you are today. And it was all part of that journey of developing yourself and following those inner nudges all along the way.
Yeah, not losing sight, don't lose sight of who you were. And the whole thing about looking back at your past and looking at those milestones of how you got from here to there, to there, to the next step. Yeah. It's really cool to connect the dots and say, there was a purpose. There was a reason that I did all of that. And it was for something. Am I done? I have no idea if this is the end journey. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know if I want to work this hard again.
Yeah. I always say the fun never stops. As long as you're in the body, the fun never stops. There's always something to do and create and be.
Sometimes you have to put it on hold like I did for a little while, but that doesn't mean you have to stop the mapping or stop, because the mapping is the figuring out how to achieve it or how to do it in your brain. That happens when you're awake. It happens when you're asleep. But it's, when you accept the fact that change can happen, and if you're open to it, then, and you put it out into the universe. I'm very big into saying things, having mantras or saying things.
Yes.
Put it out into the universe, because all that energy can work. And if the stars can align, they will when you put the energy out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Beautifully put. Very important for entrepreneurs that are building their lives and building their businesses to really, to hear these stories and to understand it's a daily practice, And
it's not always easy. I mean, I have some of the stuff that I never expected to live through. But then when I look back and I think, as a nurse, if I did traditional nursing care and, anesthesia, I never would have gotten to experience like 6 lawsuits. Seriously. I never would have been able to experience, actually, it's probably more than that at this point. Silly stuff, like, how vindictive other companies are. And I mean, it's just interesting, like some of that kind of stuff. I never would have gotten to experience how to label a product, how to really read other people's labels and know what kind of crap they're really putting in there.
Oh, wow.
I never, that kind of stuff.
Behind the scenes stuff that
totally how to make a product, formulate it, packaging, marketing, designing, like all that stuff. I never would have gotten that experience. So, it's nothing that I ever was trained for. Like I always say, I'm the creative person. I can make a product. I can make a kick-ass product. Like I can literally make some stuff. That's my superpower. I've had to teach myself how to actually market it, talk about it, and sell it, because I get so excited that it just works that I don't know how to tell people that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Like that's the hard part for me is like, I love my product so much. I just want to puke it all over people. Like, they don't get that. Like their brain doesn't work like mine, and I have to not try. Like it's so weird. Like you understand. It's
totally get it. Yeah.
So it's so you got to still learn. You've always got to learn and meet new people and figure it out and ask questions and
keep growing and changing and all of that. So please tell listeners how they can find you. And I know one thing we haven't talked about at all is the dental part. And I know I use your tooth powder. I actually brought it to my dentist very recently and said, this is what I'm using. And he approved it. So that's good. Wow. Like, I want you to use Sensodyne. And I'm like, no.
That's really funny. It's interesting that you say that, because most dentists will not recommend you could get the best dental checkup of your life after using my products, but you tell the dentist, because they don't understand it. Yeah. They don't understand natural how to actually heal the teeth, that they'll look at your product, my product, and they'll go, no, you can't use that. Even though you had like no plaque, your teeth look really good. Stop using that. Here, use this, what I call Toxapaste. Use this stuff that, causes plaque and all that other stuff.
We did a podcast about this too, about dental health specifically. That's on my website. It's in my Get Well Soon podcast series, because we go really into the details about dental and what that's. So, go listen to that for sure.
Yeah. And when we did that, I didn't have my kit. I don't think I had the detox kit. So I can also get you a special link for that you can always repost with that or with this, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's standing behind me or sitting behind me. That box back there is the dental detox kit that I put together that has everything that you need to be your own dental hygienist. And it's a 60-day supply. You've got a tongue scraper, a toothbrush, the 2 tooth powders, and you even get a free deodorant in there, like a detoxing deodorant. Cool. I throw that in there. So I can send you all that stuff. But yeah, that was a great podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I've converted a number of people to your tooth powder.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And look, my teeth, I don't whiten them. I use your system.
Yeah.
So,
it works,
and I'm 53 and I drink coffee every day. I drink wine.
I know you're like me.
Maybe once a week, maybe, once every few weeks, who knows, but red, always red.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't drink wine only because I just gave up all that, but I do drink coffee on a daily basis. And like you, I'll be 53 this year. So
I can't even believe it. Like I look at your skin is just absolutely glowing and beautiful.
Thank you.
In person and on camera. So
thank you. It's my skincare.
Yay. Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for being a guest on Intuitive Turning Points today and for sharing such a story that's, to share something so personal is vulnerable. And I appreciate that vulnerability.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And for every woman out there, you have a mission and you have a story. So put them together and, make some change.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Beautifully put. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching Intuitive Turning Points. I want you to go ahead and like the video and please subscribe to my channel and then ring the bell to get notifications of future episodes so that you can get the latest in Intuitive Turning Points, stories of successful entrepreneurs. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. Get your dose of inspiration right here on Intuitive Turning Points. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful for you.